What's up, Ayces? Long time no see. It's your girl Ayces, so welcome back to a new video. What's up, Ayces? Welcome back. I know it's been a long time. I know. Today is a new story time. Y'all know y'all like my story times. If you have not been in this channel before, as you know, I don't say no names. So all the people who are involved in the story times, unless I need to give you the necessary details of when, where, how, they will be not acknowledged. So usually when I tell my story times, there are no names said, there's no location, and there's no places. Unless the location and place is crazy to the story, then I have to explain where it happened. Let's get into the story time. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the bell notification so you know what the next video is. And let us get into this video. All right, y'all. Story time, my first boyfriend. And this is really awkward. Well, it's not awkward. It's whatever, because like it's been years since I've been from the relationship, but I guess I'm gonna talk about how we got there and then how it fell apart. So in this story time, there's only, I will say for now, there's only one person, obviously him, you need to know about. We're gonna call him Tanner. And that's the only person for now. If there's other people that I need to talk about in the story, I'll create them on the fly or something. But for now, I think those are the only people that you realistically actually need to know. I met Tanner back in 2014. We had class together. We had English class together. And at first we was just kind of like friends, like just text each other like really heavy. I'm sorry, look at my hair. Let me do something with my hair. At first we was just like cool in class and we didn't really talk to each other like that. So my best friend and another friend at the time, which is the same friend I talked about in my previous story time. If you have not seen it, it's up here. But that friend, we was all in the same class. Knowledge-based thing about Asia. Back then, around that era, I used to think I was gonna be with a nerd. And I know that sounds crazy. I just thought I was gonna be with someone smart. You know, I like the smart, not weird, but like the people who weren't into sports or they was into technology or math or science. Like I like that for some reason. I don't know why, it's just that I always thought I was gonna be with someone smart. Maybe smarter than me, realistically speaking. Because back then we had 4 different programs and there was like an archetype for all these programs. Like for example, the program I was in the performing arts program. We was chosen for the music program, not through the actual school. There was the college-based program, which was like for people who was trying to get excel before college or trying to get the AP classes before college or trying to get credits before college. So there was that archetype. And those were most of color students were in. So I wasn't in the majority. I was off to the side as an outlier. Then there was the journalism archetype, which is all the people who cared about journalism and broadcasting. And those were more for photography, videographer people, design people, you know. And then there was like the people that was involved in engineering and science and technology and all that stuff. They were in that archetype. I just knew I didn't want to be with the college-based ones because most of the guys were on the football team. I personally don't believe the football team was that attractive, but most of those people considered attractive was in that archetype, if that makes sense. This is important because it would make more sense later in the story. So we had class together. It was me, him, my best friend, and another friend, and a couple other people. I don't know how we got each other's number or exchanged numbers. We was talking for like a minute. I know that we like had started like being friends and stuff and joking around in class. Like, we would irritate each other. Like I would joke with him, he would joke back, and then we exchanged numbers, and then we would text all the time. And also, like at the time, he was in a relationship with somebody, so I was like, oh, that's nice, cool, whatever. And I don't know, I feel like we would text like this about random stuff. He would talk about what he got going on in his program archetype, whatever, and like what he's working on at home and like weird stuff that he was doing or playing games or stuff. And it's important to note, like when I first started in 2014 talking to him, I was going through a lot at home. I think my dad might have been he either wasn't doing well health wise, or he wasn't, something was going on at home. I was talking to him heavy, like I would be talking to him heavy about like what's going on, because I had my friends, but like I didn't really talk about my parents or my family at home. And I, even to this day, sometimes I still don't talk about my mom or whatever. But then it was kind of like, I was younger. I probably was 14, 15 at the time, and I was talking to him heavy. So this is also important for the downfall of the story. Well, it's not contributes to it, but it's important. So we was texting back and forth, and he was talking about his girlfriend and all these things, and I'd be like, cool. Start to like kind of like him after a while, because we was just goofy. Like it was kind of like we would joke back and forth, irritate each other in class. I would always record on Snapchat, because that was also prime time where I was recording a lot on Snapchat. So I was just doing it up. Because at that time, I finally got my first iPhone 5C, the neon pink phone. But I had this phone back in 2014. I went from a Windows phone to this. I went from a Windows phone to this. And so I was just recording everyone, and I was getting people's numbers. I finally got a Snapchat. I was Snapchatting like crazy, gang. I was I was doing everything on my phone. I knew I had liked him for a while, and I think my best friend also knew I liked him, because I liked him for a minute. And I was just kind of playing the waiting game. Like, you know, I think that's also like that's another story time or another conversation. But like, I always have been the person that kind of waited to the sideline for something. I genuinely liked this person. I could see myself, you know, with someone like this. And I wasn't ashamed to say that. I genuinely liked him. I think if we still was good, like we would have been okay. I think he had like about 2-3 girlfriends. I want to say 2, because the first girlfriend lasted for a while, and then the second one I knew dated her, but then they broke up immediately. One of them, he told her that like he liked her or he loved her or something, and she did not respond back. She did not respond back, and he was upset about that. He's telling me all this, like, I'm sorry that happened. I really wish that never happened to you. And you know, I just kind of just be there for him. And like our friendship just kind of got cool. Like we was always laughing. Like I said, we was always joking in class. It got to a point where right before the summer of 2015, me and him were joking. He was talking about like cutting grass to make money during the summer. And I was like, oh, where's my 10%? And he was like, you don't get a 10%. And it was like an inside joke. Like no one knew that we was talking about that, because we was texting. And so I came up to him in class the next day after we was texting about that. And I was like, so where's my 10%? And you know, it was a joke, because only me and him get it. But then this other girl, she was like, well, as you know, if you are with a guy for money, or a gold digger. And then my teacher agreed. We were never together at the time. The fact that you would even sit there and call me a gold digger is crazy, because he didn't have any money to give me, and we weren't together. He had a whole girlfriend. I'm willing to bet that was around the time he did have a girlfriend, or he just got a relationship. It was one of the two. We're 14, 15, you calling people gold diggers. Why, and like, why does my business matter to you? Is my question. That's what I never understood. I never understood that logic. Like, why did it matter so much to you? How did we end up together? I don't know if we was texting during the summer. That we may or may not. I feel like we probably wasn't, because we weren't in school. Summer passes, and we weren't in the same class no more. So that has passed. Like, you know, we're not in the same classes no more. We would still like text here and there, weirdly enough. And I would see him in the hallway with this girl who I didn't know at the time, and like she knew me in kindergarten apparently, and I just don't remember her, or especially from the first elementary I went to, because if I went to the first elementary, I only went there for 2 years, and I don't remember anybody from kindergarten in first grade, so I don't remember none of that from that first school. I was dating that girl. I would see them together. One of my classes we had right next door to each other. I would see them together, and I was like, okay, they're probably dating, whatever. And I think we were texting again. And then he like eventually had told me, you know, they had broke up. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know how we got here, but so there was one day I missed school. I missed school because either I was sick or I had a doctor's appointment or something. I missed school. And we was texting back and forth. And we kind of was talking about just like life and a Five Nights at Freddy or something, and which I didn't understand at the time because I didn't know what that meant. I wasn't a gamer. I know what it is now, but I didn't know then. I think he also knew that I had a crush on him because it was very evident that like I would flirt with him in class, and I was flirting with him through text message. Like how I told him that like I liked him was that, you know how you play a word, so you know how you play word association, like you say a word and you say the word that comes straight to your mind. So we was doing that for a minute. I wish I could get the text message. I don't even know if I still have. I probably don't have them anymore. I'm for sure I don't have them no more. Let's see. So we was doing word association. So he was like, the conversation, like he said fruit and I said me, and then he said stars and I said sky, and then he said me, and I was like, I said, I like you. I said that. And he was like, you do? And I was like, yeah, like I always liked you. Like I like you. And he was like, oh, okay. All right, y'all. So he already knew I liked him. I said I liked him, and he was like, yeah, I know. That's what he said. I forgot that happened. He already knew. So he could tell by how I was texting, which I told y'all earlier, I didn't know if he already knew. It's the biggest rivalry season football game coming up, and so this is right before it. So mind you, I didn't go to school, so we was texting. He was like, okay, cool. So then after that, we was texting back and forth. Pep rallies would be in the big gym, and he was like sitting on the top bleachers, and I was sitting at the bottom front on the top row, and he was like waving for me to come up there with him. And I was like, come down here, because I'm with my friends, come down here. He came down there. He was standing behind me, you know, whatever. And that was all cute and stuff. We met up at the rivalry game. I wanted to stand by him, but he came later. So the people that were sitting around me, I should have just shifted spaces so I could be right next to him, because I wanted to be right next to him. I really did. And then we also texted that night. He also was a person who spoke different languages, and I knew that, but I pretended like I didn't. I don't know how we got to this point. I was like, I want to tell you something, but I don't know. Basically, at this point, for this timeline, I've basically been waiting for a year and a half. So I've been knew what I felt like for a year and a half, which I know you're going to be like, that's a crazy time to wait for someone. But I really genuinely liked him. Like, talking to him was easy. Like, talking to him was simple. And joking with him was simple. Like, it was not something that was forced or it was weird or it was stupid. It was easy. I used Google Translate to text him something in Chinese, Japanese, wanted to, and I put I love you. So stupid. I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm so stupid. I texted him. That's so cringe. Oh my gosh, this is so weird. So I texted him I love you in like Japanese and Chinese. I copied and pasted, and then I was like, just pretend that you don't see that. He said I love you too, and I was like, I said, huh? And he was like, did you forget I can read Mandarin? And I was like, what? You know, the thing is, I knew that he practiced different languages before, but I didn't know he could read it. So I didn't know. So then, yeah, he was like, no one's ever told me that before. And I was like, yeah, I really do. You know, I always have. And so then he was like, will you be my girlfriend? And I was like, yeah, I'll be your girlfriend. So we was texting off and on. At school, we would try to meet up because we didn't have the same classes. That's what also made it hard. But every time, like, we knew our paths would cross going to another class. Like, if I was walking to my music classes or whatever, he was going to another class. I would wait for him, and we would walk together. I would give him a hug and all that stuff. If we had worked out, I feel like that would have been that definitely would have been someone I would have been with for a long time. It was just simple. It wasn't hard. It didn't feel weird. It wasn't stupid. It made sense. And maybe for him on the opposite end, it didn't, but that's okay. We was together for like 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Not exactly a month. We was almost there, but 4 weeks. Which I'm like, Aysia, really? Why are you counting as a boyfriend? He was my first boyfriend, so I gotta count it. I was really sad when it happened because the text message was like, I feel like you deserve better and I can't give you what you want right now. and now I gotta focus on a lot of other stuff. And my friends said it was just an excuse. At the time, I didn't feel like it was, because obviously, like I said, we have the same classes together, so we didn't really see each other like that for real. Maybe he really didn't want to be in a relationship with me, or whatever the case may be. And my friends were pissed. Like, they were upset. They was like, Aysia, you need to get rid of him, block him, stop talking to him. But the problem was, like I said before, when you are vulnerable to someone for such a long time, it's not easy to just not stop being vulnerable. He was there for me doing some stuff that people wouldn't understand. So for me to be like, cut him off is crazy. And I still cared about him a lot. Like, I didn't hate him. He was never a bad person to me. He ended the relationship because he said he wasn't good enough for me. But I think my thing was like, if you felt like that I didn't think you was good enough, why would I still be with you? I think that's what was crazy to me, because it's like, if you thought that, why would I ever not want to be with you if I sat here all this time to wait for you? Do feel like he probably just didn't want to be with me, and that's okay. That's all right. But I do appreciate that relationship because it did teach me a lot. And I think also one thing I wish I did was just keep it under wraps for a minute before telling people that it was happening, because then it would have been less fallout from it. And I think also it made it weird because, like, he kind of left it open, like, if it gets better, or if he gets better, there might be a chance in the future. So I just kind of try to keep being his friend, even though we were not together. And I guess after a certain point, it just felt like I was being weird. One of our mutual friends, like, when I would do my normal stuff, like record him on my Snapchat or stuff, she would like block the camera from him or knock the camera out of my hand so I wouldn't record. And I was like, okay, so why are we being weird? Or I couldn't really stand next to him waiting for class in the morning because, I mean, it would be weird. And I think the last moment that I had with him is that we had our last football game of the year, and I was there because my best friend was cheerleading, and he was there as well. And he also had like a best buddy person at their school. His best buddy saw me and him together, and was always thought we should have been together. Like he was trying to always ship us together, you know. And we hung out at the game, and I don't know. I feel like it's not a person that got away, but I do feel like if it worked out, it would have been a good thing because I genuinely liked him. I cared about him writing his book or chapters, and I cared about all his nerdy things, like all the things he enjoyed. Like, I cared about that stuff. Even though it didn't work out, I mean, that is my first boyfriend. So I can't deny that, man. That was another thing. He was also not chronically online. He was never on social media like that. So that felt refreshing for someone not to be on social media. After we graduated, he fell off the face of the earth. I don't even know where that man is. So I hope he ever don't see this. And I think I rediscovered him a little bit recently, like last year, but I don't know if I can find him again. But he might have went off the surface of the earth again. So that is my story time with my friend's boyfriend, how it happened, how it fell apart, all that good stuff. I hope y'all like that story time. It's not that crazy, but that's my life. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the bell notification. You know what the next video is, and I will see y'all in a new story time. Bye.